What up everyone, it's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the official Haslab Marvel Legends Giant Man reveal. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like, rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's talk about it. Alright, how are we feeling this beautiful Friday? Man, let me tell you, I am beyond ecstatic. I know I could have posted this video a lot earlier, but I'm just very meticulous with my thoughts, so I want to make sure I say everything I want to say, because I don't want to look back at the video and say, oh man, I missed this and missed that, because there's a lot of things going on with a big reveal such as this. A lot of mixed reactions, a lot more negativity. You know, when it comes to these Haslab projects, it tends to spew a lot more hate than anything, but I'm just here chilling on a Friday, man. Like my homie Articulated Ninja says, life is short, try to appreciate it more than you complain about it, right? Life doesn't revolve around action figures, it's not the end all be all, so let's kick back and chill. Today we get the official reveal of the long awaited arrival of an updated classic Giant Man for Marvel Legends, something we haven't had since the 2006 Walmart exclusive Bath Wave. So 17 years have passed since that time of the 13.5-inch tall bath. So how does this new update follow up from one of the most iconic and greatest Marvel Legends figures of all time? Well, to me, it looks godly. This is what I wanted as a huge Hank Pym mark. I've been saying it that this was the right choice to go after the EOV failure. So let's just focus on the figure and its features for a breakdown, and then we'll go over the tiers as I share my thoughts along the way. They did bring in Jesse Falcon to go over it, and I was like, oh crap, don't doomhead this one, bro. And apparently that wasn't just my reaction, as everyone else in the live chat had the same thing in mind, holding their breath, hilariously so. We'll get to that in a bit to see if he pulled another doomhead here. Firstly, Giant Man is being billed as the largest posable superhero of the line, standing at exactly 2 feet tall, being 24 inches, and according to the numbers, yeah, it's true, with 91 points of articulation. He's got the double diaphragm joint, butterfly joints, toe joints, and majority of the POA are in the hands with 29 points in each hand. By the way, I got something quick to get off my chest, because Ryan Ting pointed out that Dan Yoon is the sole reason why we have toe joints in Marvel Legends. And I'm sorry, but nah. Because there have been content creators such as Shartimus, me, you can name them Parallel Universe, whoever you watch, I'm sure you've seen them clamor for toe joints. And not just content creators, oh no, it goes way past us. This is, you know, the collectors, the community in general have clamored for toe joints. And Ryan Ting is making it seem like Dan Yoon is the saving grace. Nah, I'm sorry, man. I like Dan Yoon and all, and I'm sure he has pull to put toe joints in whatever figure that he wants to see. But us as a community have been clamoring for toe joints way before he got a marketing degree. Just the way it comes off is wrong. It sounds like Dan Yoon is getting all the full credit, where the community gets no credit at all. Anyways, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? 29 points, right? 29 points of articulation in each hand. So articulated fingers was something I was worried about, because I was worried about how it would look aesthetically on a more humanoid body than a robotic body like the Sentinel. But I gotta say, they pulled it off here to make it look smooth. So color me impressed. I think the seams and textures really help blend that all in together. Speaking of textures, this figure is heavily texturized throughout, so we already knew he wouldn't have those crazy heavy robotic aesthetics like the Sentinel and Galactus, which would keep this price low. And so counting on the small brimming granular details really showed that less was more here, but still going big with it, if that makes sense. Strict attention to details with seams sculpted around the mask, his traps, inner arms, outer and inner legs, gloves, boots, trunks, all over the costume. Even wrinkles on the trunks, My man even has zippers on the back of his boots, which, again, another great level of detail here that I didn't think would be added. More details on the boots, sculpting the soles underneath and adding a PIM logo, which is very neat. Pinless was expected, but the overspray shading throughout the muscle definition is the perfect visual touch as the cherry on top with everything else that's going on here. I like that the belt and harness is an overlay. They're not connected as one piece. It's actually separate from each other. That way, when you twist the figure, the harness isn't twisting all over the place and out of place. They really thought this one through. That head sculpt is godly. I don't know what to say, but it's breathtaking. You know what they did here? They kind of pulled a Hot Toys with the eyes being a clear plastic and the deco is painted behind it. Holy shit, this is the first Marvel Legends figure to include such a lifelike feature like this. It's insane. That's something I did not expect, and I love this surprise. You will get 3 interchangeable faceplates, which includes 3 different expressions. You get your neutral, happy, and angry expressions. I'm so down for the angry expression. I feel like it's looking up just a little too much. I feel like he should be looking straight or a little downward so that it looks better when moving his head down. So that way, you know, when he's looking down on his opponents, he just looks really cool. The smiling face looks a little too creepy. I guess I'll have to play with the posing and angles to find a way to make it less creepy looking. The neutral head is that heroic stoic look I like, which reminds me of the Toy Biz one. I even noticed that they added some sculpted facial hair stubbles to add more density to the skin textures. That's crazy good. I'm just worried how the material will hold up while swapping out the faceplates. I hope that plastic doesn't tear or peel over time. So, you know, depending if it's like a rubbery kind of texture, I don't know. I don't know how dense it's going to be. But overall, it's an incredible head sculpt. Hopefully the antennas are a nice, durable, pliable material because the Toy Biz one was so fragile, it easily broke on many. So it does look like the antennas will be rotatable though. They had the figure on display and he looks absolutely incredible, and this is my kind of aesthetics here with everything I wanted and more to fit with my current Hasbro Marvel Legends. I love how he towers over everyone, and having him this tall really makes him live up to his giant man name. Love that they had a prototype on hand so we can see how it looks, and again, I'm just in awe sightseeing this through the screen. The price of this figure is $199.99, and the campaign will start today, September 8th, 2023, and last through October 23rd, 2023. So that's about 46 days, and 10,000 backers are needed to successfully fund within that time for the project to go into production. If it funds, the item will be released in fall of 2024. Again, 10,000 backers is needed for the base offering, so what's needed for tier unlocks? Well, they took a different approach this time. They did away with the 3-tier model unlockables and just did 2 tiers this time around. Tier 1 will be a zombified faceplate for interchangeability. The antennas are also interchangeable too, as you can see some scratches sculpted on it. So yeah, they are rotatable, which I was questioning before. When I was doing my tier wish list for a Haslab Giant Man in my last video, a few commented about this being a tier that I didn't even think of. Good call for those that did. Not on my wish list of tiers, as I'm not into zombies at all. But if you're a zombie fan, this is all you. It's posed here with the other Legend zombie figures. Nice photo, but this doesn't go together as this is a comic-based figure and the others are MCU. I hate seeing those two mixed up, man. It never looks right. But now this is the first comic Zombie Legends figure, and we'll see if they make some more to go with this guy. I gotta say, the articulated fingers being posed crooked or broken definitely complements that zombie head all the way. What they should have done to go with the zombie head is have a swappable limb, so that way, you know, you can have that grotesque look to match his face, because otherwise it just looks like his body is still intact. So if he had like some bone exposures and, you know, blood out, that would definitely fill out the look a lot more. Tier 2 is a scroll head, which was in my wish list. I don't see why this couldn't be a faceplate then a separate head. Oh, never mind. I see why the ears are sticking out, and that's an important visual appeal needed for a scroll. Got it. Still, looks great. The clear green eyes look menacing. I think the overspray shading, skin textures on this just looks too damn real. It looks like you'll be carrying around a toddler-sized alien in your hands. So at first I was disappointed at the tears. Still am a little, but then Ryan explained it in a perspective that I can respect, which is locking desirable characters behind a crowdfunder, and that was a lesson learned from their EOV Haslab. So those characters, whether they were desirable or not, that would have been considered for this project will receive mainline treatment instead. So they are keeping the tiers as accessories only, which the Sentinel tiers were predominantly accessories and only like the Sentinel Primes were the figures. However, with Galactus, what made Galactus so successful were those tiers. Having some of his heralds as figures were key. Figures do drive sales, so I think they could have added at least one figure. I know Yellow Jacket would have helped gain backers, so I understand for some who really want him but say they can't afford to back this, we'll get a chance to get him at some point. So take that as some good news. I think I'm in the gray area there though. And one of the reasons why I'm in the gray area is because I still think a figure should have been added that wouldn't affect the mainline market. For example, adding an Ant-Man with a removable helmet and soft goods lab coat for this project, and then mainline can offer that same Ant-Man with a removable helmet but without the soft goods lab coat, or however you want to shuffle that offer. Maybe a Yellow Jacket and a gold metallic deco here, and then the mainline could have just a plain yellow deco. You get the gist. So whether in the base offer or tier, I still think that one figure should have been included. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Ryan Ting said that there will be more tiers added later, but they'll just be accessories. What will those accessories look like other than heads? I don't know, maybe a ground pound effects as a base that you can put underneath his foot to make it look like he's stomping hard. Similar to the SH Figure Arts Impact base. A giant soft goods lab coat to put over him. Ant-Man arrow for Hawkeye. I don't know. Again, no figures will be added. We'll see how that goes, because if the project indeed goes south, let's say, they might have to pull a Rancor and add a wanted figure. But I think this project will be fine and successfully fund. At least the base offer if no stretch goals are met. But tiers aside, am I still happy with the base offer, which is the most important thing to me? Yes, I am. You guys know Giant Man is my second favorite Avenger, tied second with the Hulk. Cap will always be my number one, but I'll take anything Giant Man as I mark out for anything Hank Pym. I consider Hank Pym the CM Punk of Marvel Comics. He's got straight up mental issues, but I love how outspoken he is. So to me, and this is just my perspective value, I'm not trying to oppose anyone else's. Again, what's worth it to me may not be worth it to you, and what's worth it to you may not be worth it to me. Perceived value. But $200 is pretty damn good for a 2-foot tall figure. I hate to compare anything to Hot Toys, but fuck it. If I can hold it in my hands, then it's comparable. Hot Toys are $300 for 12-inch figures. I'll get a 24-inch figure for $100 less. It'll pose better than any Hot Toys, and the head sculpt on this is pretty much like a Hot Toys, just like the touches of realism, such as the eyes. If you don't think so, then that's fine, but it's pretty damn close to, and that's still a fucking W for a Legends figure. But apparently it's an L according to the live chat that most likely don't know shit about the character. A Marvel Legends Toy Biz loose complete bath on the aftermarket goes for about $200 or so. That's still one of the greatest Marvel Legends figures of all time and still worth it in my opinion, but for around that price, you get more with this for your value. Better sculpt, articulation, and better durability as those joints loosen over time. I know my bath definitely has loosened joints over time and is getting to that little wobbly state, so... Also remember that many collectors were paying $350 to $500 at one point for that Giant Man bath. Way more than this $200 Haslab. I'm not telling you to buy this over that or vice versa. I don't want you to think that. you collect within your means. I understand if size is an issue due to space, because depending on your shelves, you might be able to fit the 13-inch bath but not the new 24-inch figure. So I get it. You do what's best for you and your collection. I just think at this point in time, this is the better buy when comparing apples to apples. Man, I didn't think Hasbro would top Toy Biz's Giant Man, but shit, they did. But then again, I'm not surprised because they outdid a lot of Toy Biz's figures. I'm excited for this as I was to hunt that Toy Biz bath down. I remember paying about maybe almost close to $200 or less and got 9 figures plus the bath, making it 10 figures total. But different times now, man. Economy is so much more different now than it was in 06, obviously. That hunt was a challenge, being a Walmart exclusive, as 19-year-old me was living in Jersey at the time. In 2006, hitting up every Walmart back-to-back, and you also needed to buy some variants to complete it too, if I remember correctly. So here you can directly get a Giant Man in one shot. I don't think the aftermarket price will go down. I thought that would be the case for the Sentinel Bath when the Haslab came out, but I was wrong. The authentic ones still hold value. If it doesn't fund, it may go up even more. If it funds, it may drop, but I wouldn't rely on that. I hope this funds. I really want it. I know a lot of collectors that were behind me when I said this should be the next Haslab. Like I said before, if this doesn't fund, I won't sweat it because I have the bath and I'm perfectly content with that if that's the only classic Legends Giant Man ever made. It's in my top 3 greatest Marvel Legends figures of all time. In my opinion, Hasbro topped it with this one. Just way too many details all around, where the Toy Biz one was just an upscaled bullseye body, but areas like the boots, gloves, and torso design was just painted on, and Hasbro sculpted those areas here, so again, the enhancements are undeniable. If this guy funds, I'll have to switch up my Avengers display, as the Avengers shelf I have can only fit a 13-inch tall figure, which was perfect for my Toy Biz Giant Man bath. I have both classic and modern Avengers in one shelf. I'll have to move it to another spot, which I've been meaning to separate my classic from modern, so it'll be the perfect time to do so when that figure drops. I backed it. I backed 2. Put one on my credit card and the other on my debit, then called it a day. I'm thinking of displaying my extra as a scroll to go with my scrolls, or just leave it in the box. If they make a scroll Avengers to go with that Giant Man, I would love to photograph an Avengers versus Skrull Avengers shot. Could that be a possible third tier? Skrull heads for your Avengers figures, like a Skrull Captain America head and a Skrull Iron Man head? Or would that be too much Skrulls for this project? It would probably be overkill, so I'd say save that for an accessory pack. Overall, I'm so much more happier with this offering than how they did the EOV, which was terribly mismanaged throughout, and you know I was very vocal about that one. I'm happier with this one. Could they manage the tiers differently? Yes. The zombie face is Jesse Falcon's Doom head here. I knew we would get one. The Skrull head is welcomed in my book, so a little part of me is let down by the tiers. Actually, the zombie head was Dwight's idea, and the Skrull head was Jesse Falcon's idea. But you know what I mean about the zombie head being the Jesse Falcon's Doom head in here, because it is unwanted. Just like the Doom head was unwanted for Galactus, I don't see many people wanting this zombie head for this Giant Man. But then again, I could be wrong. I underestimated there's a lot of Marvel Legends or just Marvel Zombies fans in general. But hey, if you want it, I'm not knocking you for it. I'm happy for you. So I'll wait and see what any other possible tiers may be added, but all I know for now is that I'm content with the base offering if the tiers don't hit, because I don't rely on tiers. This is the Giant Man figure of my Marvel Legends dreams, so I'm hoping this gets funded. If you're mad that I didn't hate on this, then too bad. Deal with it. I'll be vocal about liking something as I would be disliking something on my channel. It's simple. If I like it, I'll praise it. If I don't, I'll call out the BS. And the only BS I see are the tiers. Yeah, they are lame. At the end of the day, it's lame because that should have or could have been base offer. At least the zombie head. I like the Skrull head, actually. That's not lame. It was on my tier wish list, but I think the order is wrong. Skrull head should be first tier and zombie second. But whatever. Again, I ain't relying on these tiers because the entirety of the figure is a masterpiece. I don't think $200 is bad at all for a 2-foot figure. My ideal size for Giant Man was 20 inches. If they shed off 4 inches for $5 to $10 per inch, then we could have gotten a 20-inch Giant Man for $160 to $180. And that definitely would have been the better metric to go with. But hey, $199.99 is still a friendly price compared to their other Haslabs. The Transformers Death Star's Haslab was the same price and is a hell of a lot smaller, so I think this was the fair price range to go with. It cost me $14 in taxes, so yeah, $214 and some change was my total for one. Anyways, 24 inches is a good height because he won't be bigger than the Sentinel or Galactus, which I didn't want him to be, but he'll still be able to stand out and will still look badass posed going toe-to-toe with either one of them. So Haslab is the one and only time to make him as big to live up to his name. So sorry for those that think he should have been 12 inches. They already made plenty of 12-inch Giant Mans, and 12 inches is not a giant in Haslab standards. You might say he was typically 12 feet in the comics, so 12 inches would have been justifiable. Again, yes, he was, and like I mentioned before, you got 12-inch Giant Man options. But don't forget, the character had several depictions, iterations, whatever you want to call it, where he grew so much bigger to his full potential. That was one of Pym's goal obsessions as Giant Man, is to push the limits of physics to grow bigger. So that's what Haslab did here, and used the scale to its fullest potential for the character. There's nothing wrong with how they scaled it, in my opinion. Anyways, I'm down for this, not backing out. I'm in it to win it. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Marvel Legends Giant Man Haslab? Will you be backing it? What could be some extra tiers you can think of that are not figures? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thank you for watching another Marvel Legends video. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace, peace.